we're going to be talking about a new angle on something that we've previously talked about before here. For those of you who have attended any of these events, Partner Fleet is a repeated guest and supporter of this, and they have a platform called Partner Fleet. If you don't know about it, you do now. They do a lot of things, and they're always developing new things, and the ability to keep up with all that is kind of hard. And so I invited Cody to come back here today to share a new perspective on a older theme, which is building out your marketplace and your listings and integrations when you host your own app and partner marketplace. Most of the people just think about it from the point of view of it being for your tech partners, right? Like, hey, we even heard Rachel a couple seconds ago is one of the reasons why she uses a platform like Cody's is because she doesn't have another dang thing she needs to manage and control and when it comes to all the listings of partners. And so the other side of this is, which most people don't think about, is the agency side, is the services partner side. And so there was an interesting twist that I was chatting with Cody about that he's going to talk about. One of the great reasons to have service and solutions partners is for the referrals that can come from them. And so they're in the position to refer. Those jobs are to build things for their clients using tools like yours. But if you don't have a place and a way to create a flywheel, and going back to what Greg was saying before, that give to get, that was one of the big unlocks, that until he understood that when you give first, you then unlock deals and partnerships of bigger, greater magnitude. And so what Cody's going to talk about today is the unlock, or a part of the unlock at least, for you to put something in place to help engage, enroll, and expand your service partners, agency partners, and solutions providers. And so, Cody, I love what you're working on, what you're doing. I want to hear this new take. This is new to me, so I'm going to take a step back and listen to what you have to say about this fresh approach.
Awesome, Justin. Yeah, thanks again for having us on. We love every Zimmerman event and stoked for Unlock. So let's get going. So like Justin said, we're going to be talking about really the give to get or reciprocity flywheel. And I think most folks in the audience, and if you've been working in partnerships for a while, you're going to understand the importance of that and the importance of having goodwill relationships to stay top of mind with your partners and ultimately, drive reciprocal leads from them. First, just for context here, if you don't know Partner Fleet, there are over 50 leading SaaS companies that use us to power their partner directories and app marketplaces like LiveRamp, Motive, ZoomInfo, Gong, etc. So we're the SaaS platform behind that. Cool. All right. So I think, again, this is a savvy audience, right? So most people are going to agree that partner source revenue is the gold standard. And we're seeing this in some of the reports that come out, right? Like the Crossbeam State of Partner Ecosystem report, saying that 67% of respondents in that survey have partner sourced revenue as a KPI, and 62% have partner sourced leads as a KPI. And the stats on influence are much less convincing, right? I think we all know influence is important as well, and it's a nice mechanism, but we're all looking for that partner source revenue. And we're doing all the right things, right? Like there are great playbooks that have been written and that people are following to make sure that we're driving partner source revenue. We've got our partner onboarding dialed in. We've created tiers for our programs. We have certifications. We have great incentives and revenue shares. We're enabling our sales team. We're doing trainings for them. We've set up a partner relationship management tool. We've set up a learning management software. And, we're asking for referrals on a regular basis. All right. So we're strong here. Here's the fundamental problem, though. Ultimately, revenue shares are the primary incentive that we're offering to partners, right? At 72% say that revenue shares are the most important financial incentives that their partners have. However, on the flip side of that, only 21% are saying that their partners value commissions to the point where they're essential for their partner's business. And the remaining 79% say that commissions are at best a nice to have, and at worst, they refuse to take them entirely, right? And in most, they're just kind of, or a lot of them are just not motivated by commissions. So there's a fundamental issue here where the method that we're using isn't necessarily sufficient to drive the outcome that we want. And, coincidentally, as we're going through this, we recognize, hey, this maps really well with like Pareto's principle, the 80-20 rule. That 21% we talked about on the last slide is going to be motivated by what you put together. What about the 80%? How can we get more value from them? Well, you're going to see some hearts and some broken hearts in this presentation because it's Valentine's Day almost. So here's the thing. You're not speaking their love language. The 80% wants to get in front of your customer base just like you want access to their customer base, right? And so your partner's love language is really leads and it's business, it's revenue. So looking at this, again, State of Partnership Leaders Report, the most important non-financial incentive for partners is receiving new customer referrals. That's 60%. And then we have below that is like training, enablement, support, all the stuff that we're already doing at 24%. So what I'm making the case for today is a paradigm shift from this mentality of take, and just provide the mechanisms to make sure that your partners are savvy enough to refer you business and move to a model of give. Give them value. But you're probably asking like, okay, I'm tracking, but like, how is that going to yield better results, right? I have a kind of a silly story, but just to underscore like how the mechanism works. And I really think it's human nature. I moved into the neighborhood, like 7 months ago, right? And within the first week that I was in this new neighborhood, one of our neighbors brought us some baked goods, left them on our doorstep. They came by to say hello. During the holidays, they wrote us, Christmas cards and things like that. That's on one side of me. The other side, nothing wrong with those neighbors, but I don't know them. I've never interacted with them. They didn't take any steps to say hello or be friendly necessarily. We've exchanged a few waves and head nods, and that's about the extent of it. But those initial neighbors, they continue to do things that make me feel like, okay, these people care about me. They're investing in our relationship and they want to be good neighbors. Well, now I have all this citrus blooming in the yard, like lemons and oranges and stuff. And like, we can't possibly take it all down as a family, right? So I need to offload some of this stuff. And who's top of mind for me? It's going to be those neighbors who have been already giving me nice things and showing me that they care about me. And so we're bringing bags of lemons over their way and good stuff like that. So not only did I feel like, hey, they have been great to me. I want to be great to them. But I've actually, the more they've done it, the more I felt a duty to reciprocate. The more I feel like, okay, I need to return the favor here. And that's what we're dealing with in partnerships, right? If you start sending your partner's leads and driving value and showing them that you care about their success, they're going to be more likely to reciprocate that. And here's the deal. If you look at the top dogs out there, right, they've figured this out. Salesforce, Shopify, Microsoft, et cetera, they're generating more value for their partner ecosystem than revenue for themselves, right? Salesforce is a 6-to-1 ratio, Shopify 7-to-1, Microsoft is up to 11-to-1, depending on the type of partner. We know HubSpot is investing heavily in their marketplace and they're driving 45% of their revenue from partners. So clearly, in the top ecosystems, this model and this ethos of supporting partners and having that drive really works. Now we're at maybe you're more convinced now if I'm doing a good job selling this idea. Maybe not, but if you are, you're trying to figure out like, okay, how do we do that? And it is tough, right? Like it's not easy to just be sending your partners leads all the time. The primary method of doing this right now is co-marketing, but co-marketing requires like a big effort from both sides to generate demand, and it's ultimately going to culminate in partner influenced leads, right? Below that, you can spiff out your AEs and your CSMs, et cetera, train them up. So 20% are using that to drive business to their partners. But none of this really solves for like, how are we getting them sourced revenue in a way that's scalable? And the thing is, it's really hard to keep like partners top of mind for your customer facing team members and all of that. And it doesn't really map very well with the way that customers want to find solutions, right? These days, 70% of B2B buyers want to find solutions via self-service exploration versus, direct sales outreach. So here's the solution that we're presenting, if you haven't figured it out yet, is to leverage a partner directory. A partner directory is a fully scalable and evergreen solution. Feels like a no-brainer when you look at these stats, right? Like it helps you co-market with infinite scale. It gives partners exposure to your audience, which they're already going to be grateful for. It enables your customers to self-serve and find those solutions that they need. It drives leads passively and eliminates reliance on internal teams. So it feels like a slam dunk. But the thing is that everyone's sleeping on this. The data from the same reports that I've been referencing show that only a third of respondents are leveraging a partner directory as an incentive for their partners, and only 15% are actually using it as a way to generate leads for partners. So there's like a massive opportunity left on the table. If you don't have a partner directory at all, that's a good way to start. And if you have a partner directory that's not driving leads, you just need to figure out how to make that happen, track leads that are going out to your partners, make sure they know about it. And that's really going to help. And as I was mentioning, there's sort of like multiple levels to value that your partners are going to feel when you launch a partner directory. The first is just the directory listing. Give them real estate on your website or within your app, and make sure that you're getting them in front of your customers and basically giving them the promise of leads. And then you can look at like, how do I prioritize placement and give them more exposure, which increases the probability that they get leads, and ultimately is like the fulfillment of sending leads their way. So at this level, like level one, again, you have that brand association, you have exposure, you're creating SEO value, and you're giving a marketable page that they can use as well. Level two, like increased visibility, higher traffic, elevated credibility, which I think is big, and then higher conversion rates on their pages. And level three, like a couple things that are very tangible, a couple that aren't. You're adding pipeline, you're adding to their pipeline. Ultimately, that'll convert to revenue. It'll impact their business. But beyond that, there's a dopamine hit. They're excited to get a lead. They're excited, right, to like feel like this is working. They've invested time into it, and they're getting the return of that. And then that is going to build that relationship and build that trust factor that's going to, again, make sure that the partners feel the love and become inspired to reciprocate. So quick case study, Smokeball, one of our customers, we're surprised to see like how they've oriented their entire program around driving value to partners. And we just did a case study with them, and I was like, wait a sec, all this revenue is talking about like revenue they've driven for partners, not for themselves. And it kind of clicked with me what they were doing. So they have a directory or marketplace. They're investing heavily in making sure that converts. Now it's converting at almost a 3% rate from visitor to a lead gen, which is incredible. They have a goal around how much revenue they want to generate for their partners. And they hit that goal. They beat it by 19%. And actually, the person who was in charge of that metric was on holiday. They're in Australia on holiday for 7 weeks while that was happening. So that speaks to like the passive nature of the partner directory working for you. And then another cool stat is they had one partner that grew their business 87% from the business that they were getting from Smokeball, which is killer. So I think it's important if you're going to take this approach to like either add KPIs or restructure some of your KPIs. You can start tracking things like how many leads per month are we sending to partners? What percent of partners are receiving at least one lead in a given time frame? What's our directory conversion rate, which is just leads divided by visitors? And like for new partners, what's our time to first lead? Like if that's an activation technique, right? Like how quickly can we get a new partner a lead and get them moving? So tying it all together, the title of this was like how to 3x your partner source revenue, but after running the numbers, we're like, we think it could be higher. Shoot for the stars, land on the moon. So we're talking about 8x here. Think about it. If you're sending 10 leads per month to partners, and you have like a 50% give to get ratio. So you send 10 leads, you receive 5 from partners. You're converting those to sale at 20%, whatever it is. ACV example 15,000. So you're generating 15,000 a month in partner source revenue. Now, you pursue this strategy of give to get. You're sending 80 leads per month through the directory, mostly passively. You're getting 40% at that same 50%, right? You're getting 40 leads at the 50% give to get ratio. And ultimately you're coming away with 120 grand per month. So that's what we want to enable folks to achieve using Partner Fleet. Or if you're not using Partner Fleet, like make sure that you have the mechanisms in place to make this happen on whatever platform you're using, because it can be really strong. So one thing that we were thinking here, Justin, we have a few minutes, but like we would love to actually do some audits with folks. Like if you're like, hey, we have a partner directory, like it's not really doing what you're saying it could do, we'd be happy to take a look at it and see if there are areas like broken links in the chain, et cetera, where it might be falling down, that we can point out for you so you can improve on your current directory. And if you're finding that your infrastructure is going to be insufficient to take this strategy all the way through, then of course Partner Fleet might be a solution you could leverage. But yeah, we would love to connect with people and see if you can get this rolling.
You talked before about dopamine hits, and I know that you put a lot of time into everything you do, presentations, products, demos, the research, everything in that. I think that for those of people out there who have programs, want a directory, have any inkling of improving the metrics and numbers that Cody talked about, let's show him a little bit of dopamine in the chats, in the claps. I just dropped his link on LinkedIn, and so feel free to click that and let him know that you were in his session, and that if you can't quite look at this QR code right now because you're looking at this on a mobile phone, which can happen, look in the chat right now, find Cody, and then reference this conversation. I'm sure he'll say it's okay to do an audit and review and look at like what's possible with you and your partner program, and help you get your directory enabled for this type of performance. So thank you so much, Cody.